Cue the audio. Good morning, guys. Welcome to another Trade for a Living crypto EMC educational podcast. So we're going to be talking about the markets. And the question that I'm asking myself is, there's a lot of hype especially in crypto Twitter at the moment, regarding, Bitcoin's going to go to these outrageous targets. And look, I don't want to take anything away from that, but I think common sense, we just need to look at the current trend as it is and decide whether there's the possibility for a Bitcoin 90, retrace to about 97K minimum. Okay, so why? The first thing is, let's do a recap. What was said the last time round? Okay, so the last time round, I was saying that I'm expecting a 5-wave Elliott impulse, okay? Meaning that there's certain rules that needs to be applied to these 5 waves, certain things that cannot happen, that will invalidate that. And that has been invalidated. I will show you later during the stream. Then I also wanted to see that the demand zone, the strong demand zone that we had, that generated this last little big push to the upside, this demand zone, remain intact, which it didn't do. So whatever this was is more of a manipulation rather than a massive trend to the upside. So we need to decide whether we need to build on a new demand zone or whether this now also indicates us retracing to 97. I also shared with you guys the idea that we were expecting around these lows hidden bullish divergence, meaning that if that demand zone, let me just bring back the demand zone, if that demand zone, which I'm expecting the market to respect, is going to hold, we wanted to see that price don't go below that range, which it's done, inevitably deleting the hidden bullish divergence, which was needed for us to try and create this next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave upside. And that then is what worries me at the moment, because my warning is, in short, is the trend is still bullish, it's obvious, but with momentum slowing down, what could happen next? Okay, so why is the trend still bullish? Let me just talk to you guys to that topic, and then we'll start looking at the charts in greater depth. The Bitcoin weekly time frame is what I use for this. And like I say, technical analysis, guys, there's no guarantees in the market. And just as a reminder, there's also no financial advice here. But technical analysis in its essence, or in its core of what it is just a study of fractals. So we're looking at what happened, how it looked, and then if it looks the same, the expectation is that the outcome should be the same. That's what technical analysis is. It's nothing other than that. Elliott wave, Wyckoff theory, Gantt theory, price action, price patterns, whatever you want to do. Even if you're going to use an AI system, it's going to look at this from a fractal point of view, because that's all the technical analysis is. Now, if that is the case, the argument is that if we're slowing momentum, which you could clearly see in the previous bull market high, the market started creating divergences. It created yet again another higher high, but the RSI couldn't support that. If that is the case, the big worry is if we fall below that originating pivot where the divergence is, that's when the market now is going to start turning really against us. Now, at this stage, the headlines was Bitcoin moon, Bitcoin next, that Bitcoin's going to go to 1 million. And that's the hype I'm seeing in the market at the moment. The only difference is at this stage there was hype amongst the alts, which I think kind of hides the fact that it is different. There's no hype amongst the alts so much so this time round. So where we're at now, you can see the similarities. So I'm not trying to doomsday the future by saying that this will happen. There is no guarantees in technical analysis. It's all about probabilities and statistics, okay? Statistically, the odds are in a favor that this is going to happen. That's all that I'm saying. And that's why I'm in a short for that reason. Okay. Now, so there's the background and the trend analysis. But now also what I know is that until we break trend, Until this trend is broken, there's no way that I'm gonna go all in and sell my spot BTCs or anything like that. Because for me, this could still just be a small retrace and move to the upside, which brings in the question about the 97 and why it's significant. Okay, so there you have it. There's a little bit of a background of where I'm coming from. And then obviously the last time around, we also spoke about the big move that Bitcoin needs in order for altcoins to break through critical resistance levels, which it didn't happen. Okay, so the recap, everything is up to speed. Everybody knows where we're at. Let's quickly say hi to everybody. And while we do that, just a kind reminder that today's video is brought to you by Bybit. If you want to support the content, you're more than welcome to open your own account using my affiliate link. It's in the video description. And if you do so, I will not just thank you, but also reward you with my Crypto Buddy indicator, which basically takes all the trade strategies that I use and it's already encoded into this indicator and generates those names so that you know which strategy it's looking at. And it gives you a guide of where I would consider entering and taking profit for trades. Okay, it's got the same statistical success rate as my own trading. And like I said, it's not a magic bullet. There isn't something like a magic bullet out there. There's risk. So just make sure that you understand the risks. Okay, there you have it. Now, over to the comments. Let's quickly see. Martin, good morning to you. Tilly, good morning to you. Ivan, Renee, good morning. There's about 100 people joining in live for all the streams. Guys, hello to each and every one of you. Thanks for joining live. Just drop me a 777 while you're at it, and let's just wake everybody up. I can look at my face in the camera there, and I can see that I need a facial or something just to kind of looks like I haven't been sleeping, although that is not the case. Okay, so now I've given you a lot of thoughts, a lot to think about. We've spoken a lot about where the trend is at the morning. So now let's move this down and focus into a trend or trade direction for now. Okay. So at the moment, what I'm struggling with the market is if I want to be bearish, and let's first just look at being bearish right now. Okay. So the goal is bearish. If I want to be bearish, I need to see hidden bearish divergence form. So typically what will happen is with any impulse, be it to the upside or be it to the downside, if you want to be bearish, you're expecting a bearish trend. You need hidden bearish divergence to form. So you will have a high, you will have a lower high, but the RSI will be doing something different. So you will have that high on the RSI. Just delete that line there. But the next time round, the RSI will do something like this. Okay. And then you know there's hidden bearish divergence. The market is going to continue on. And we don't have anything like that at the moment. So if I want to be bearish, I'm going to have to be bearish as a scalp trader. Okay. So let's go to the chart. Let me show you. So looking at where we are now, you can see that there was bearish here. Price making a lower high, RSI making what could be considered a higher high. Barely, but it's there. Okay. And where we're at right now, we're either mid-move or that, or that. But there's nothing telling me go short right there, right now. Okay. So that's the one thing on being bearish. So what do I do then? I look for a bullish reason to go. Now, the same thing is going to apply for being bullish. You want to see a 5-wave Elliott impulse or something like that. What you're looking for is somewhere between these lows, the RSI doing the opposite, okay? Price making a lower low, meaning then there's hidden bullish divergence. The trend is trying to continue on forward, okay? And we don't have that at the moment either. So if I bring back the chart, we don't have any of that at the moment either. So what do we have? So being bearish, there's no real setup. Being bullish, there's no real setup. Well, this means we're lateral range trending at the moment, meaning this analysis is no longer there and the market is range bound. Now there's 3 market conditions: bullish, Great, we all know that one. Bearish, we all experience that one. But in most of the times, from a trader point of view, the market is in a kangaroo state. So it just bobs up and down, sideways. And that's what we're experiencing right now. The market is trying to find liquidity to decide whether it's going to go next. So it's range bound. And when it's range bound, it's easy to identify when to enter, when to take profit. And when it's range bound, you also need to narrow your expectations, meaning if you enter on a short, don't think 90. If you enter on the long, don't think 180, that kind of thing for a BTC. Because we are range bound, the condition will remain like that indefinitely until it's not. That's the rule of trading, So what we're trying to do is narrow our expectations. So if we go short, we want to try and look for a short between 109 and say maybe 111, testing the supply liquidity. And we want to be out of our short, taking profit at 106. The same argument is the demand liquidity is sitting around at 100,000. So if we buy any longs there, we want to be out at around 96, because what does the market do? You can see it hovers around this axis point for a period of time, chops you up. And then either it will retrace and test your buy zone, or if you're lucky, break through and then go into demand and then hover around that area again, chop you up until it then breaks through. So you can see time is not your friend. You might have profit immediately, but then as time goes on, profit goes away. And that's the thing about lateral range trending. So how I go about this is I'll take maybe a position in these upper areas. This is just my idea of how I do it. And then when I hit my TP zone, I'll close about 80% of the position, leaving a little bit with a stop at break even. So it doesn't cost me money if it does, take my stop, leaving a little bit to see whether I get to be lucky, for that retirement, that for the roulette wheel, basically, if you would want to, use an analogy in that sense, leaving a little bit to see if you're lucky. And that's it. And I do the same for the bullish side. I'll take a position, close it heavily, and then leave a little bit to see if I get to be lucky and see if it breaks through. And then the nice thing about trading is, in the end of the day, once a trend establishes itself, we have all the guidelines. I've not taught you all the stuff that I look at to try and identify and what I note as to be a trending market. And then I can add in on that position, whichever direction it's going to be. So in conclusion for today, the market is range bound. So expect the market to chop you around. This is also the area where traders will typically give up. And when they give up, it doesn't mean they don't trade. They take risk off. They increase the amount of risk they take. So by giving up, saying, well, this thing is chopping, so I'm just going to increase my stop and let this thing chop and finish itself out. And then hopefully when the breakout occurs, I'll be in the move and then it's done. And they end up giving away a lot of the profit they've made on the way back up. So please don't let that be one of you guys. Just be cautious on that. I know this to be true because this is what I used to do. And it almost makes sense in this kind of environment to do that. But I've learned through experience and loss that it just never happens. Get in, make the money. Why want to trade for a living but want to retire next week? That kind of thing. All right, there you have it. Let's see. A lot of 777s came in. Thanks so much, guys. There you go. Good morning, Boris. And all right. So that's the idea. Now, as for altcoins and anything in that domain, we can quickly have a look at Ethereum and maybe Solana. And the frustrating thing is with trading Ethereum spot and Solana and all those things is you can see that they're range bound as well. They're struggling from exactly the same problem that Bitcoin is at. And that's why within the recap I shared with you guys is that we need a big move for Bitcoin. Because unless Bitcoin breaks out and breaks through and pushes 113, 15 all-time highs, coins like Ethereum will probably do exactly this, the same as Bitcoin. Just range within this area, fill the gap, go down, test demand, go down, test supply, and keep on doing this. And and that's it. Now, totally unrelated point. 97K, I think, is plausible for the following reason. When I look at Ethereum, or not unrelated, scratch that. The main reason for the bloody stream, and then the argument that I'm making that Bitcoin should technically go and test these levels, is because when you look at this amount of gap that Ethereum has left behind moving into this lateral range, it begs the question that should the market not go and test this area and then move on? Like Solana did, like all the other altcoins did. And Bitcoin Cash is moving quite strong. I need to go and check that out. But should that not happen, that's a fair assumption. And the reason I'm saying that is, yet again, if you look at BTC way, 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 way back in the beginning of its bull market, when you have a massive move and the price starts sitting sideways, I mean, I can zoom in on this and make it a little bit better, breaking a prolonged bearish trend, which Ethereum has just done, you do expect that flash crash before the momentum continues. So the hype, rightfully so, being bullish, I agree with that. I just think that the chart is telling you that the bullishness is only going to really show itself again after we have a big move. And Bitcoin going back down to 97 is not an unreasonable ask. Sweep everybody out that's entering on this is going to the moon, take them out, then go to the moon. The market will always find the most painful path to the objective. So everybody gets to be right. Yes, it's going to the moon, but nobody's in on the ride because it took them out. It scared them out of the market. Okay, that's it. Thanks so much, guys. I'm going to be in the Discord trading live. Links to everything is in the video description. If you open your, if you've got a Bybit account using my partner link, you can get the Bybit role in my Discord, and that will give you access to some of my live trade channels as well. So you can see how I trade. You can chat with me. You can ask questions. You can actually just join the community. So you're more than welcome to do that as well. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. Have a lovely day. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.